Welcome, everybody. Oh, I was gonna try something new. I was gonna say top of the morning today. Clearly isn't natural for me. Let's see who's here today. Tolkien says hi. Hello, Sarah. Good morning, Nicole. Jackie says greetings, lovelies. Happy Friday. Or Saturday for some. That's too much for my brain to comprehend. Sarah. Another Sarah. Hello, Jackie and all. Welcome. Feel free to say hello. Who else is here today? Let us know how your Venus in Libra has been going. I'll leave it at that. I've had a couple people text me asking, like, what's happening in the skies? Why is it so volatile? Yeah. So that's not on our talk today. I'm just going to throw it out there right now, just because I love throwing this information out there. Actually, a week from today, we're going to talk about the Sun and Mars coming exactly conjunct, but the energy is building now, and stuff's kind of hitting the fan. A lot of anger is happening right now. There's a lot of volatility in the sky. Arguments are prevalent. Physical action is prevalent right now. Yeah. We had 2 injuries at Taekwondo last night, and that's not normal. Like, no one normally gets hurt. Thankfully, it wasn't anything severe. Like, one kid got a bloody nose, and a girl's nail got ripped off. Oh my gosh, she had like a fake nail on, and the whole nail came off with it. But things like that, like physical aggression is normal, right? Not normal, but Mars and the Sun coming together. The Sun is supercharging Mars's aggression and power in Scorpio, the deep emotion sign. So I'm going to throw that out there. Take that with whatever resonates. But yeah, that could be. If you guys are having some weird arguments and like heavy energy in your life, that could be why. Hello, Bonnie. Tolkien says, weird. Melinda, good morning. Debbie says, it's been tough. So I listened to Molly McCord. She's an astrologer who has a YouTube podcast, and she's been talking about this upcoming Scorpio new moon on Monday is very similar to an eclipse because of all the heavy energy around it, because of the Uranus aspect that we'll talk about on Monday. But it still feels pretty intense, like eclipse season. Yeah, and that could also have to do with Venus moving into Libra, because she was the ruler of our eclipses, and now she's into Libra, and she's like balancing out all the energy. So if you had a lot of ideas during eclipse season, now she's giving you opportunities to put those ideas into practice, leveling it out. Hi, Lori. Tolkien says, I read an article saying that it's one of the weird periods and do not take things personally and be more patient. Thanks for saying that, Tolkien. I feel like that's just a general rule of thumb. Every day, don't take things personally and be more patient. You can just learn it now when stuff's all up in the air. Carrie says, hello, Jackie. Hannah, so intense. Yeah. Sharon, hi, Jackie. I'm happy to be here today with everyone. I don't have good reception at my job site, but yes, it's been tense at work for me. Just know that you're not alone. That's why I like talking about this stuff, because you're just not alone. Christine says, happy Friday, Jackie and friends. Greg, hi, Jackie and beautiful peeps. Greg, I listened to your meditation yesterday. If you guys are not aware, Greg recently became an Insight Timer teacher, and he has a chakra touch meditation on his page. I listened to it on my computer, and it didn't allow me the option to leave you a review. So I'm going to try it again on my phone one of these days and see if it still gives me the option to leave a review. But it was wonderful, and I highly recommend it to anyone. Our good friend Bonnie also just started putting tracks on Insight Timer. She has an Akashic Records journey meditation on her page. So look at all these little seedlings. You guys are planting your seeds now. Love it. Christine, yes, don't take things personally. It's one of the 4 agreements. It's one of your favorite books, Christine. You're welcome, Greg. All right, let's get into the astrology for today. If this is your first time with me, my name is Jacqui Mancuso. I'm joining you guys from Northern Illinois. I said that with a lot of emphasis today, Illinois. And when I am here on Insight Timer, we talk the current astrology. I give you just some advice and tips about what's happening and how to best utilize the energy. And then we'll pull a few oracle cards from 2 separate decks to see what the cards would like to give us as advice for how to use the energy happening. And just a quick bit about astrology in general. Nothing is ever happening to you. Everything happens for you. So yes, there might be some harsh placements, but you have free will. And I'll leave it at that. You get to choose what you do with the energy. So awareness is key. So let's become aware of what's happening with Mercury. Mercury is in Sagittarius. He just entered Sagittarius, still at 0 degrees, but the ingress has already happened. He will be in Sagittarius until December 1st. So we have that chunk of time. But then later, Mercury will retrograde back into Sagittarius at the end of December through mid-January. So we have quite a bit of time of Mercury in Sagittarius this year and early next year. So Mercury in Sag brings an air of unobstructed honesty because Mercury rules our communication. And Sagittarius is linked to truth with a capital T. Sagittarius energy is said to have foot-in-mouth disease because this energy loves to state the blatantly obvious truth without sugarcoating it. Sagittarius energy has no filter. There's no need to put any deception on anything. It just is what it is. So I've personally never seen this movie or read the actual story, but one of my cards mentions the Emperor's New Clothes as an example of Sagittarius energy. So if you've never heard of it, never seen it, essentially an emperor is sold clothes that cannot be seen by stupid or incompetent people. And so the emperor can't even see his own clothes, but he goes along with it because he doesn't want to appear stupid or incompetent. So he has his high and mighty outfit, and then he parades himself through the streets, and all the townspeople are just playing along. They're going along with the charade because they don't want to appear stupid or incompetent. And then here's this little boy who points out the blatant, obvious truth that, hey, that guy's naked. So that's Sagittarius energy. It's blatant obviousness, which can be challenging, or it can be just a breath of fresh air because you know that there's no BS in the air. Mercury in Sag says, like, why are you pretending? That's not the truth. My husband has a Sagittarius stellium. He has 5 placements in Sag. So in our household, there is no polite conversation. It is full transparency, full honesty, 24/7. So I'm very familiar with the Sag energy, and I appreciate it. It pulled me out of my comfort zone a lot, but it was all for the authentic reality of, bringing out my authenticity and who I am. So I love Sagittarius energy. It's like a breath of fresh air because there's no sugarcoating, there's no filter. It is what it is. It can be difficult because it asks you to face the truth, but Sagittarius is the sign that follows Scorpio. Okay, so we're still in Scorpio season right now. The sun is still in Scorpio. But Mercury finished his time in Scorpio, and now he's going into Sag. So Scorpio is where we dig deep into our emotions and we sit there. It's fixed water. This is a good time to plug all those times that I've advised you guys to just sit with the emotion. Just sit with it. Just be with the emotion because the beauty is underneath. Okay, so after Mercury has sat in Scorpio, sitting with those deep, dark emotions, Sag expresses what he found. Sag has found the beauty. Sag has found the truth of sitting in that deep emotion. And Sagittarius can't unsee what they've seen. Like, you can't go back to sleep. Once you're red-pilled, you can't go back. You can't go back to sleep. It's pointless to pretend to be asleep. Sagittarius is no longer the energy of ignorance is bliss. Like, there is no ignorance when it comes to Sag. Very blunt, Chantel. Yeah. Sounds like me. I've been told I'm blunt. Does it help to reveal the truth? I found something out that was hidden yesterday. Does it help? Well, if it's what you desire to do and you're not intending to hurt anyone, then yeah, it helps. You might trigger other people because they're not ready to hear the truth, but just be you. Just be you. As long as you're not trying to harm anyone else, just be you. So there you go. A fable, Christine. Thank you. I don't know what the exact difference is, but Emperor's New Clothes. Yeah, I love that blunt honesty of that kid. Like, hey, everyone, he's actually naked. Why are you people-pleasing? I feel like Shadow Side Libra comes out, and Shadow Side Libra is that people-pleasing. Don't say anything because you don't want to rock the boat. And then here comes Sagittarius, just like, well, this is the truth. And it can come across mean and impolite sometimes, but I think that that's just because as a society, we've been so cultured into always expecting what everyone else's feelings are going to be. And that's impossible. That's way too much pressure on one person. Sag is super authentic, just saying what is, and if you're offended by it, like, sorry, that's on you. Chantel says, no. Does Sag energy reveal the truth that was hidden? Yes. So in the zodiac, it's a story. It's a circle. It's a cycle. So Scorpio comes before Sag. Scorpio is where we dig and we have to sit with the nasty to see the truth. And then Sagittarius sees the truth and he shares it. He expands it. Good morning, Anik. Oh, there you go, Greg. Perfect timing to have a heart-to-heart with my friend after our falling out in early October. Mercury and Sag might also offer you a different viewpoint. The gnats are crazy today. I finally put one of those, like, blue light sticky things in my room because I've had gnats in here for a couple weeks, and they're just all over the place right now. So Mercury and Sag may offer you a different viewpoint on certain situations in your life. This is because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So Mercury in Sag is literally the energy of expanding your mind. Sagittarius is also linked to higher education and philosophy. So this time, the end of November and then also the end of December, when when Mercury retrogrades back into Sag, you may feel pulled to take up a new area of study or to expand on a current interest, to see a little bit bigger of the picture. So if you've been focusing on this one little niche, this one little segment, I feel like Mercury in Sag is going to allow you to, like, open your boundaries a little bit to see what else, like, what the encompassing force is of this one little thing that you've been studying. The first thing that came to mind is, like, if you've been very into, like, yin yoga, like, that's my thing. I love yin. Mercury and Sag might allow you to open up and see, like, okay, what is hatha yoga? What is vinyasa? What are these other types of yoga? And how do they all connect? Just an example. You're welcome, Chantel. Melinda says, so interesting. I'm a Scorpio moon and a Sag rising, so I bet this is resonating with you. Good reminder, I need more yoga in my life. Greg says, this is all very interesting. I agree. I'm actually really excited for Mercury in Sag. Quick anecdote, because I love telling stories about myself and how they relate. And I'm always in awe how my life just progresses. And then when I use astrology in retrospect, it just always makes so much sense. So I told you guys recently that I'm in this new course and I'm learning a new system called the Enneagram. Okay, this is an esoteric teaching, right? It's just a symbol, and then the teacher is teaching us how to understand and integrate the symbol. This is like higher philosophical learning, right? And I started picking this up as Mercury was in Scorpio. Now Mercury's in Sag. I feel like I'm ready to just like blow it up. What other truth is out there that I haven't seen? And just yesterday, one of my good friends sent me, I'm one of those people now. She sent me a 4-hour YouTube video, and I've listened to the first maybe 45 minutes, and I can't even explain what the video's about, but it's such a deep philosophical teaching about how all of our minds are controlled all of the time, and like, this is how mind control works, and this is what the Philosopher's Stone is about, and it's so just like deep, but also philosophical, and this feels like Mercury and Sag. Like, now that Mercury is in Sag, I might be able to expand my understanding to wrap my head around the whole thing, if that makes sense. But in addition, so that's the energy of Mercury in Sag. Tie it up, pack it. As Mercury enters Sagittarius, he forms an exact square to Saturn at 0 degrees of Pisces. And this is actually probably exact, like right now, to the minute. Saturn transits equal a pause, sometimes like a full stop. Saturn also places restrictions and limits on the world. And squares in general cause tension. It's a disharmonious, it's like struggle when there's a square. So Saturn placing his limits on Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the least comfortable sign when it comes to being bound, being placed on a leash, right? Being held down. Sagittarius is the centaur. It's the half man, half horse. All they want to do is run and gallop and explore and go. And here is Saturn immediately. When Mercury enters Sagittarius, Saturn says, like, hold the phone. I'm going to limit you. I'm going to hold you back. I'm going to place this boundary on you. So this weekend, right, today's Friday, this weekend might bring some roadblocks to ideas that you want to explore. The first example that came to mind was a very old school example, and it's not even old school. People just don't use the library anymore. But Mercury squares Saturn can feel like the book that you've been wanting to check out at the library just isn't there, and they don't know when it's going to be back. In fact, the person who checked it out has had it out, and it's overdue for 2 months, and we have no idea when that book's going to come back. Saturn square Mercury can feel like the article that you've been meaning to read has suddenly been taken down because it's against community standards or whatever. It's like an authority figure comes in and squanders your plans. That's Saturn square Mercury energy. Some governing force is saying, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. What are you thinking? But always in life, this roadblock might be exactly what you need to break through to gain the momentum that you need to explore as far as you want to. So again, nothing happens to you, everything happens for you. Bonnie, that yin yoga may or may not have been directly for you. Melissa loves the library so much. I want to get back into the library. It's just out of my routine, but yeah, I've been thinking about it. Christine loves the library. Courtney, does it feel like going to the principal's office? That's the energy I'm feeling. Yeah, Mercury square Saturn so Saturn can represent authority, right? Something that gives you limits, something that gives you, right? The principal gives you rules. The principal gives you consequences. It makes you sometimes feel smaller. And Mercury it's where you want to explore, especially Mercury and Sag. Like, you just want to take your mind on this crazy adventure, and like, you don't have an itinerary. You just want to go. You just want to start walking around through the books and see where you land. Yes. And then here comes Principal Saturn calling you into his office. letting you know that you read the wrong book. You actually brought a banned book into the school, and now you have to have after-school detention for 3 weeks. It can feel like that energy. Yeah, I love the metaphors that you guys come up with as well. So we're going to use 2 different decks today. The first deck, we're going to ask, what truth does Mercury in Sag have to show us? And for that, we're going to use the Animal Apothecary Oracle cards. I feel like we've been using the same decks over and over, but I'm here for it. It's just the season. It's the season of Animal Apothecary. So I always do group readings. I invite you to send your energy into this deck. You guys love this deck. I do too. I love the anecdotes that come with this. It's an animal deck, but it always gives you like a quick little story about what the animal's doing. It's very cool. Personification. What truth does Mercury in Sagittarius have to show us? As I said, this is a group reading, so all cards are for all of us. However, I'm going to show you the backs of the cards when they come out. And so you're going to see the same image 3 times. But if any of the cards are just speaking to you in some type of way, that could mean that a certain card has a bigger message for you. Or like that's going to be really prevalent for you. If nothing speaks to you, then you're not broken. It just means that the whole reading holds an equal amount of importance. If you have a number in your head right now between 1 and 3, throw it in the chat. That's using your claircognizance, clear knowing, unexplainable knowing. When I hold up the cards, if you feel anything change in your physical body, like if you get an itch, if you sneeze, if you burp or fart, or something twitches, or you just feel hot or cold or something, that could be your body's wisdom saying, hey, listen to that card. If I hold up a card and something changes in your physical reality also, that is your intuition speaking to you. It's the universe speaking to you. But you are the universe. If anything changes, right? If you feel like a cold breeze, or if a bird lands on your window, or if your cat meows or jumps in your lap, the house creaks, anything. The whole world around us is always trying to talk to us, and it's just our job to get out of our own logical mind and get more into our intuitive feels. What else can I blab about while I'm waiting? I'm waiting for one more card. We're asking, what truth does Mercury in Sagittarius have to show us? Unfiltered truth, unobstructed, no sugar on top. I love it. So Sag is also the explorer, right? We're talking about centaur energy, half man, half horse. So there could be a truth that you're meant to explore during this time. So Mercury is going to be in Sag from today until December 1st, but as that's happening, we have the Sun that will also be entering Sagittarius at the end of November, I think the 22nd. So the exploration phase of our year is coming. I know, Greg, more shuffles than usual. I'm just being patient. So don't forget that right now we are still in Scorpio season. We are still in that time of just being in the emotion. The volatility, I was just talking earlier today about the Sun and Mars are very close in the sky. They're about to be conjunct. So that's bringing up a lot of volatility. A lot of anger could be coming out right now, a lot of reactivity. And it's not about shoving it away. Scorpio wants you to dig into it. Like, where is this anger coming from? Why is this happening? What is it trying to tell me? All right, I'll show you the backs of the 3 cards and then let me know which cards are resonating more strongly, if any. If none, cool, then the whole thing is all for you. What truth does Mercury in Sag have to show us? Here's the back of card number 1. the back of card number 2, and the back of card number 3. I'll show them one more time, just in case. The back of card number 1. Oh, the Philosopher's Stone is right there. Huh. The back of card number 2. I was just talking about the Philosopher's Stone. And the back of card number 3. Interesting. I rarely tune into what messages are for me. I just take the whole thing, but I'm just going to share with you guys today. Card number 1 is where I noticed the Philosopher's Stone, so just that. And card number 3, I noticed this little cut on my hand. So that's it. Just saying that out loud. Let's see what you guys are working with today. Jacqui 3, but all. Michelle 2, Tolkien 2, Susan 3, Melinda 1, Lori 2, Sherry 2, Carrie 2, Sharon 2, Renee 3, jumping, Rachel 1, Win 3, Bonnie 2, Michelle 1, Patty 2, Deborah 2, Chantel 1 head, 2 purr, 3 birds. Sarah 2, Jess 2, Courtney 2, a candle fell out of a candle holder when you pulled 2. Interesting. Melissa 1 and 2, but 2 is stronger. Susan 3, Patty 3, Nicole all. Anique 2, but maybe all. Christine 1 itch. 2 blip sound. 3 laced was shining, all 3. Greg 1 is a head tingle, 2 is a belly tingle. The card was shining. 3, the card was shining. Cool. Sarah, I always get something valuable from all of them. Same. But yeah, sometimes it's just fun to play little games with your intuition. So, what truth is Mercury in Sagittarius trying to show us? Card number 1 is card number 43, Sacred Boundaries from Tiger Palm. Courtney, are you in here? Didn't this one come up for you the last time we met? Tiger Palm is the medicine of sacred boundaries. I know, there you go. Tigers are masters of their territory. In the jungle, Tiger says no to living near other tigers because she knows that this will diminish the amount of food in her territory. Tiger says yes to living near water, for she knows it is good medicine to relax and play in the flowing waters. Tiger is bold and never thinks twice about whether she should allow something toxic and dramatic into her environment, nor does she ever feel bullied or coerced into doing something she does not want to do. Tiger is so strong because she creates firm boundaries. Tiger's power comes from knowing and honoring herself. We teach people how to treat us. Never expect others to automatically respect and treat you with the justice, love, and consideration you deserve, even when you treat them with kindness. Articulate and create boundaries through courteous speech. For many, conflict is draining, and they would rather avoid it. Still, if you are presented with a situation that continuously minimizes or belittles you, you must stand your ground and ask for respect. The mere fact of sticking up for yourself is so admirable. It energetically creates a level of esteem from others. Even if the other party does not hear you, you will have strengthened your self-worth by holding your boundaries. And this new level of deeper self-worth will reflect in other areas of your life. Boundaries do not apply only to behavior from others, but also to the way we treat ourselves. Do you have guidelines for the food you put into your body? The people you create relationships with? The words you say? And the topics you discuss? Tiger Palm's medicine raises its hand in your spread when you are being asked to level up the energy that you allow in your life. Start scanning what behaviors you hold that do not align with, I treat my body, mind, and spirit like a sacred temple. Tiger Palm's medicine directs you to set boundaries with not only others, but yourself. This feels like a reality check, a hardcore Sagittarius reality check. Truth, right? When it comes to boundaries, this is still something that I'm learning as a people pleaser, as a former people pleaser, a recovering people pleaser. I have a hard time with boundaries because I can so clearly see where the other person is coming from. And that's it. And it's just so much compassion. Like, okay, I get it. Like, you're just popping off because you're having a bad day and I know you don't mean any of it. And it's like, no, stop. The truth, the Sagittarius truth, is that they are treating you unfairly. So that needs to stop. There's that boundary right there. Another boundary, right, that like for yourself, this card's talking about boundaries with yourself. Like, oh, I know I just had a really long day. I'm just going to eat this one ho-ho. I'm just going to have 4 or 5 cupcakes today. Not a big deal. No. If you want that rockin' bod, you can't just pig out every time you had a bad day at work, because then you'd be doing it every day. Boundaries. Saturn represents boundaries. Interesting that this is the first card. And as Mercury enters Sagittarius, Saturn is right there. Like, limit something. You gotta pull back. Courtney's loving it. Melinda's loving it. Greg loves it. Melinda, so resonant. I also share the people-pleasing gene and work on my boundaries every day. Something that's helped me call myself out on that kind of stuff is like, why do they deserve more respect than I do? It's that's a Sagittarius question. Chantel resonates. Follow my head and keep my boundaries. Do not give in when being manipulated or belittled. Hannah, I've been really working on stopping the people-pleasing, especially with my family, but they're also the hardest to have boundaries with. I wonder why that is. It's like that energy of like, I owe you because you're my family and I owe you. Is it true? Is it true? Mercury in Sag wants you to see the truth in your boundaries. Christine, yes, this is for me. Hannah, you're describing my life, says Christine. Melinda says, yes, listen to Louise Hay yesterday and received the same message. There's a reason why things keep coming up. The universe really wants you to hear it. Sarah says, boundaries are the distance at which you can love yourself and love another simultaneously. Paraphrased from Prentice Hemphill. Thank you. Hannah says, it's unreal with my family. Daffodil just joined. Welcome. We're on card number 2 out of 3. I just read card number 1, so you came just in time. Card number 2 might have a huge message for you. Greg says the Saturn influence feels like it's allowing us to take a measured approach to expanding or truth-telling. Ooh, I like that. It's like giving you the container so that you don't start a forest fire. Shadow side of Sagittarius can be forest fire. Like, uncontrollable burning. It's everywhere. It keeps going. So yeah, here's Saturn saying like, go ahead and burn, but I'm going to put this lid on top of your fire pit. And we're just going to cap that right there. Katie, my older brother is financially abusive on a regular basis to me. I told him yesterday that I'd rather move to where it's more affordable to live than be played with by him. Perfect. You go, Katie. It's not easy. Setting boundaries for yourself is super scary. But once you do, practice a little bit at a time. Set a small boundary and then let it grow. And then you'll be setting bigger and bigger and bigger boundaries. It's wonderful. Let's see what else. What other truth does Mercury and Sagittarius have to show us? I'm excited because I've never read this card. This is card number 5. Nourishment while waiting. from Baby Hawk. Hawk is a power bird with big medicine. Hawk is fearless, the visionary, the messenger, and the balanced one. Hawk is your highest self. Baby Hawk's message. Baby Hawk in this image represents the part of you with an overwhelming desire to step into who you fully are and fulfill your purpose. Mouse represents the nourishment Baby Hawk will need to develop into her most fulfilled self. Baby Hawk teaches us the wisdom of nourishment while waiting. This is a moment for patience. What will you do while you wait for your vision to manifest? The flower blossoms in its own time, but the gardener cultivates the seed's growth. The gardener ensures the seed's fullest development by nourishing it, pulling the weeds that threaten it, and planting the seed where it will receive the most sunlight. While you wait for the next step to be revealed, you must similarly prepare yourself for success. Baby Hawk needs to be nourished before she can achieve all her greatness as adult hawk. And this is why you must nourish yourself on every possible level. Ask yourself what skills your future self holds that you currently do not. Then start researching and practicing them. Mercury and Sag. Once you grow and develop these skills, you will step into your highest self. Wise old hawk looks back on her past self and shares the medicine to not just wait in patience, but to learn while you wait. Stay persistent on your path toward growth and develop and strengthen yourself. For it is the consistent nourishment to become your greatest self that magnetizes you toward your dreams unimaginable to you now. Greg loves the feeling of this card. I do too. This feels so much like utilizing your time wisely. You're gonna have to wait regardless, right? Like you can't rush the gestation of a seed. You can't rush the gestation of the project, the new version of yourself that you're becoming, the new idea that like sometimes it just takes time. But what can you do with that time? How can you set yourself up for success while you're waiting for everything to just fall into place? This card spoke so much about researching, learning, diving into the skills that you're anticipating you'll need to have when you become this next version of yourself. Eating the mouse, finding the mouse, looking for the mouse, and then eating it, digesting it, learning it, so that when you do get to that next place, you have this new level of knowledge, this new level of truth. Greg loves the feeling of this card. Jess, well, this card was written for this phase in my life. I love it. Yeah, what are you doing with all of your time? You have all this time right now. What are you doing? Anique, it's resonating. Nicole, card 1 and 2 complement each other so well. Thank you for bringing that up. Card number 1 is sacred boundaries, right? Like, how much time am I going to allow myself to sit and wallow in my misery? You know, sometimes you do need to do that. Sometimes you do need to have a reality check of like, wow, my life sucks. This is what I don't like about it. But then while you're waiting for your life to get better, what are you doing with your time? How are you filling the time that you're waiting, right? Chantel, purr for me equals happiness. Nourish myself, do my gardening while waiting to get into a better state of mind before reaching my purpose. Of course you pulled Eagle Medicine from the Native Spirit deck, Jess. Of course you did. Hawk and Eagle are interchangeable, in my opinion. Goodbye, Melinda. I have to run early today. Thank you so much for your reading today. I'll donate from your profile page. Thank you so much. Oh, and that comment disappeared as I was reading it. I wonder why. Mercury and Sag. Did you guys see that delete? I just wonder why. Christine, oh wow, this was what I was doing yesterday to prepare for a family wedding. I'm attending tomorrow. Preparing, letting go, listening to a positive podcast. Yeah. You know that you're going to be at the family wedding, so instead of just stirring in the anxiety of like, what's it going to be like? What's going to happen? What if this? What if this? You're focusing on how to be more positive, right? How to bring more positivity into your world. Anique saw it disappear. Just curious. Just why? Sagittarius also likes to know why. Erin, now I'm thinking of going to the library. Why not? Why not? Thanks, Jackie. She's going to test something for us. Where attention goes, energy flows. Jackie says she's going to donate from my profile page. I didn't know what was at the end of that comment, though. That's interesting. But we'll see what happens with that comment, Jackie. All right, so what other truth does Mercury and Sagittarius have to show us? I don't know, it's still there, Jackie. Maybe we're not allowed to say that we have to leave early. Card number 3 is Claim Your Power. Yet another tiger card. The tiger energy is here, y'all. You guys are too funny. Anyone face to face with a tiger instantly shifts into a state of respect for her prolific power. Tiger summons you to connect with your greatest power, to overcome yourself, to overcome your doubts, fears, insecurities, and illusions of the ego, and to use boundaries. This, just for context, this is card number 43. And this is 25, so it's not like they're right next to each other in the deck either. So, while many of the animals in the apothecary deck ask you to be accepting of your emotions, when this card comes up, it means enough is enough. Tiger does not appear now with the feminine energy of allowing. This is the masculine energy of taking action and creating what you want. It is time to care more about the end goal than the heavy emotions you are currently feeling. The action called for here is snap out of the illusion and get your thoughts in gear. Holy moly. When you change your thoughts of the world around you changes. Get in control of your thoughts and transform the story you tell yourself. You are not your feelings. So stop mistaking them for your identity. Shift perspective, conquer your emotions, and carve the life you desire. You can no longer submit to the identities and definitions that you once projected on yourself and others. It is time to move forward and initiate your power. When you stand in your greatness like a tiger, you have nothing to prove, for you just are. True power is not dictated or enforced. It is an energy that magnetizes others to want to help you in your cause. Once someone has to prove and display their strength, they've already lost it. Tiger's medicine says to stop playing the victim of your circumstance. Your power is even greater than Tiger's, yet you wallow in smallness and self-pity. How strange is it that one with so much power is so blinded by it? You feel imprisoned by your circumstances, yet the only prison is the story you painted over your circumstances. Tiger's medicine is to wake up, get real, change your story, change your life, claim your power. This is like the coolest card. Jess feels attacked. With truth and honesty, with blunt, unobstructed truth, you guys are so much more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And I mean, me too, right? I have all these wallowy stories why I'm the victim. What was this one talking about? It's time to care more about the end goal than what you're actually feeling, all right? We're coming out of the Scorpion, the Burrow. We're coming out of that and we're going into the Archer. You set your sights on what you want in Sagittarius, you shoot your arrow and it goes. It's time to take action. Snap out of the illusion and get your thoughts in gear. We're asking about Mercury here, is telling us get your thoughts in gear. Snap out of the illusion. Bring the truth. Bring the truth to your mind. Literally look at the truth of the situation. Sometimes you can take your ego out of it, take your identity out of the situation, pretend that someone else is trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And for whatever reason, it makes it easier for you to accept that the end goal is possible. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. And I like that this card, too, is very much describing that quiet strength, that innate, assumed power, not the domineering, I'm in charge of you, you do what I say. It's not that. That's not what we're going for here. This is the power of, hey, I'm the shit. I'm going to do what I do, and everyone who wants what I have is going to follow me, and they're going to learn from me, and they're going to, help themselves because they have an example of what they can reach. What's wrong with having that confidence? Claim your power. You're powerful. Telling yourself that you're not powerful is like what all the people who have all the power want you to think, because then their role is threatened because they have to project their power onto us. If you just are your true authentic self and just go out into the world with your authentic large soul, you have so much more ground than the ones who have to remind you that they're in charge. You have to follow their rules. It's so different. Greg, rawr. Christine with the tiger too. Greg, wow, it's so important to embrace our power in order to speak our truth. Lori says, wow. Christine, and when an arrow is directed towards us, we can deflect it. We have the ability to pause and reflect before responding. Exactly. Exactly. You know your power. You're able to set your own boundaries. I will not accept to be talked to in that way. If I need to remove myself from the situation, so be it. Claim your power. Set your boundaries. Tiger, tiger, tiger. Aaron, big picture view is so Sagittarius. Yeah, Jupiter, big picture, seeing the whole thing. Suzanne arrived just in time for this card. Going to dance on the table. Show off what you got. This is my power. Look at it, everyone. Sharon, OMG. Earlier this morning, I just woke up with the knowing I had to fill out a workplace bullying allegation, and I did it already. And this card is a confirmation that I followed my intuition, and I'm supported. Boundaries. I will not accept that type of treatment. This is why. You're powerful. You don't need to gloat about it. I think that's where we get this skewed version of power and authority and like leadership, is that we're surrounded with so many powerful, quote, quote, powerful leaders that gloat about their power, Or like they don't like physically like speak the words of gloating about their power. They just act in a way that like, haha, you have to do what I'm saying you have to do. Not true. Chantel, my throat was so dry with card 3. Maybe speak my truth? Absolutely, I would say that. It could start with journaling so that you can get it out on paper before, I don't know, that's usually more comfortable for me. I can usually journal truth before I can speak it. Just a thought. All right, guys, one more deck. One more deck, one more card. This time we're asking for advice from Saturn, because if you join late, here's what's happening. Mercury's moving into Sag today, and right as he steps into Sagittarius, he forms a square to Saturn at 0 degrees of Pisces. Saturn wants to limit something. Saturn wants to rein us in. Maybe Saturn wants us to set our boundaries. Just saying. But we're going to ask for just advice from Saturn. Like, Saturn, why are you squaring Mercury as soon as it enters Sagittarius? And for that, we're going to use the Gateway of Light activation deck. So one last card for today. Feel free to send your energy into this deck, asking for advice from Saturn. Just one card. If you are enjoying today's session, if you'd like to offer an energy exchange in the form of a donation, they're always appreciated. If you haven't yet followed me on Insight Timer, please consider doing so you can see when I post my new classes. Usually here, it's not every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but those tend to be my typical days. And I always go live at 10:15 Central Time. So hang out with us. And then if you missed any part of today's reading, I always record these sessions and I put them on my YouTube channel. So you can just search my name on YouTube. Or if you want to see 8:15, Greg, 8:15 Central. If you want to watch the replay. Yeah, you can also go into my Insight Timer profile, teacher profile, and my link tree is there. So all of my links. You can follow all my socials, hop on my email list, see how to work with me one-on-one. I do a lot of stuff. All right. Advice from Saturn. Why is Saturn squaring Mercury? What does he want us to know? The card that came out was the Akashic Stargate. Aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. Eli, I always do group readings, so if you just hopped in, this card's for you. A stargate is a portal that can take us through space and time to a whole other universe. It's based on the concept of the Einstein-Rosen bridge, or what is known as a wormhole, where a speculative structure linking different points of space-time is created. In spirituality, a stargate is less about traveling on the physical, three-dimensional level, and more about making progress on the spiritual level. A feature of many spiritual traditions is the idea that all of us have a stargate in our heart that connects us with the central lattice of consciousness. The Buddha acknowledged we were the universe, while Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." The Akashic Stargate transports us to a space where we are given the opportunity to make a decision and accelerate the realization of our life purpose. Whenever the Akashic Stargate is presented to you, it's because you're at a critical point on your journey. You have the opportunity to move in a particular direction, and you have to make a decision. This can feel overwhelming, and you may be waiting for someone or something to make the decision for you. But you aren't here to walk a path that was set for you. You're here to walk a path that you were chosen. The next phase of your journey cannot unfold until you decide which way to go. Know that whatever direction you take and whatever decision you make, you'll always be on the right path. No matter how you get there, you'll always end up in a similar space. Also know that purpose isn't about doing your duty, it's about living life and experiencing joy. This just feels so Sagittarius to me, and I'm trying to relate how this is advice from Saturn. So Saturn wants to give us a limitation and a boundary. I wonder if it's Saturn that's saying, pick one path and just go on it. Choose to take the path that looks the most enticing right now and follow it. Because Sagittarius is the wanderer. Sagittarius wants to explore. They want to go everywhere. They don't want the itinerary, but Saturn is advising us to just choose. If you feel like there's so many things that you want to learn about right now, and I can relate. Believe me, I can relate. I want to learn everything that I ever hear about anything, and I want to read the whole book on everything. Just pick one. Just pick one, and it will be the right thing to be doing right now. That's what Saturn wants you to do. Just make a freaking choice and trust yourself. Limit yourself to this is what I'm learning today. This is what my mind is going to be exploring today. Follow it to your heart's desire. And then when it doesn't feel good anymore, change and go to the next thing. Sandy, I'm a Sag, and I needed to hear this. I hear myself talking to my husband right now. He wants to do everything at once. We always have 5 or 6 house projects going on. And then they're all 90% finished when he moves on to the next one. Like, we have so many unfinished projects in this house. Just like pick one thing and finish it and then go to the next thing. It's gonna be okay. You're still gonna have fun. You're gonna get to explore all of this. Something, I can't remember exactly what the book said, but this saying keeps coming into my mind. A teacher that I'm working with right now, one of her biggest quotes is, limitations create style. When you come up against a roadblock, instead of wishing that life was going the way that you anticipated it to go, appreciate the limitation from Saturn. Thank you, Saturn, for putting a boundary on this, because now I get to show my authenticity about how I'm going to solve this problem, how I'm going to work with this boundary, with this roadblock. Limitations create style. The Akashic playground is my happy place, says Bonnie. I do love the Akashic records. There's so much in there. It's very vast. But again, too, so like if this card did make you feel like you wanted to go journey into the Akashic records, maybe have a semi-specific intention when you go in there. Like, know where you want to go. Just set your sight on a path. Sagittarius energy is also about enjoying the journey. It's not about the destination. Sag really teaches us how to enjoy the journey and just take in everything that's happening step by step. So even if you're on the path and you never make it to your destination, who cares? Because the path still got you to a certain point, and you wouldn't have been at that certain point if you didn't take that path. So that's what that card means, that you're always on the right path, because you're always following your intuition. You're always following your biggest excitement, your highest joy. Suzanne, Saturn is like my grad school advisor. What do you mean by that? I hope that today's messages resonated, and I hope that they gave you some sort of direction as Mercury moves into Sagittarius. You might feel more apt to speak your own truth, to set your own boundaries. This card also, the Nourishment While Waiting, Baby Hawk, this feels like enjoy the journey, right? You know what your end goal is, and while you're waiting for the time to pass to get there, what are you doing with your time? What are you learning about? And don't forget to claim your power. Not in a domineering way. You don't need to step on other people to get to the top. Just be your best and watch the beauty unfold around you. Greg, that's affirming. Enjoy the journey. He said, I can't do anything. I can't do everything. I have to pick. Yes, and sometimes it feels so limiting, especially to Sagittarius energy. It's like, no, I want to do it all. But thank you for forcing me to pick one thing, because then I got to focus all of my attention on that one thing. And I didn't half-ass 1,000 things. Lori, it all really resonates for you. Lovely. I'll be back on Monday. What are we talking about on Monday? Let's see. Oh, we have a Scorpio new moon. New moon on Monday. I know how much Jacqui loves Duran Duran, so I'm just going to play that song on loop the whole time. Just kidding. Scorpio new moon is happening on Monday, and if you want to sit with intentions beforehand, you can look at where 20 or 21 degrees of Scorpio fall into your chart. That's where this new moon is happening. So if you want to just sit With that, we'll go more into detail on Monday. Anique loves Duran Duran. I do also. Suzanne, her name is Rio. Oh, Jackie, I just realized I played Duran Duran multiple times in Embody Astrology. That's so funny. I was trying to think of... Oh, and New Moon on Monday was on the Cancer playlist. Yeah, that's great. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. No to Duran Duran, please. Thank you. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your comments and your participation. Always a lovely time. Sharon's going to rewatch this on YouTube. The whole reading resonated, and I need to take notes and journal about it. Thanks. So happy I got to be here today. Likewise. Sending love to all. Namaste. Go be your big, powerful selves. Claim your power.